Thank you very much. And with that, I'll call forward Holly Shepard, PNBOA, Tom Gately, PNBOA President, Nancy, I'll let her pronounce her last name. Packarzina, NBUA, and Tom Butler, SRC. Thank you for coming down to testify on this, and I'll let you pick who goes first and second and third and fourth.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, and we appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Pull a little closer.
Oops. We appreciate the opportunity to be here today and speak in favor of the proposed substitute House Bill 1636. As you can see, we are all amateur sports officials, as are many people in the room today who took time off from those real jobs they have to come down and support this bill. The associations provide a centralized assigning and billing service, but in some ways, almost more importantly, they also provide us our official community and training and a place where we can talk to each other about being called a moron that day. So they serve a very important role in facilitating somebody who wants to help out and be an official to know how and to be able to do it. For me personally, when I decided that I wanted to umpire baseball, I didn't know a thing about it. And I couldn't have done that without having an association where I could go and say, how do I do this? And a group of people who encouraged me to go out and do it. And a group of people who were okay when I came off a field in tears because I had done it so badly. But, you know, you get better as you go.
I'm Holly Shepard, and I think I represent the minority. I'm a young black female student. I just graduated from high school last year, and my sophomore year of high school, I started refereeing for Seattle Parks and Rec. I knew an associate there who scheduled umpires, referees, and she was my inspiration. She motivated me to start refereeing. And I've been around the game of basketball since I was 5. So I love basketball, I love the game, I love being around kids. At the age of 17, I started refereeing for the PNBOA, and I went through their training. I wanted to pursue my career as a basketball referee, and they gave me the tools I needed to referee high school games. But basketball is just more than just a game for me. I just want everybody to love the game and have fun.
My name is Tim Gately. I currently volunteer as the president of PNBOA, which is Pacific Northwest Basketball Officials Association. Today, you see I'm wearing a black and white uniform. Today, this black and white uniform represents my passion for our communities, our youth, our school, and our students, and all the games statewide that are officiated, from gymnastics to swimming to volleyball, basketball, football, the list goes on. Our associations exist solely to serve our members, our sports officials, and the local leagues. We're run by volunteers, and this bill will allow us to continue to serve our communities well. Again, thank you for your time, and thank you for supporting the spirit of the games we officiate.
Thank you very much.
My name is Tom Butler, and I'm here in 2 capacities today. One is to represent the State Referee Committee, which is a soccer committee that is responsible for registering and licensing all of the USSF soccer referees in the state of Washington. There are 3,601 kids that are soccer referees. 61% of our referees that we have doing soccer games. And this is possible because we have all the way down to U6 and U7, which is basically the little kids. And if you watch these little kids, I go watch my grandchildren now, and it's a hoot. They can only put 3 of them on the field at a time, otherwise it becomes a jungle. So it's amazing to me how this reaches down to all levels. I thought my career with soccer was over when my kids went off to college. Boy, was I wrong. I got 3 little ones with a 4th one coming on the way, and they're all probably going to play. The last thing we need to do is increase the cost to those young families of added expenses, because we have to pass those costs on to the leagues, the clubs, the associations, and the schools.
we're at House Bill 16, or substitute House Bill 1636. Staff report, short one.
This is the bill that excludes certain services performed by amateur sports officials from employment for services referral agencies for purposes of unemployment compensation.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff? Representative Condata? No.
Just discussion.
Okay. Representative Reichdahl for the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that proposed substitute House Bill 1636 be adopted and
Reported out of committee with a due pass
be
recommendation.
reported out of committee with due pass recommendation.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Any discussion? Representative Condata.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to thank you for taking a time out to move this bill forward. And we support it completely, and I'm glad we can help these folks, because I tell you, I've really enjoyed watching you guys in action with my kids out playing soccer. It is really a great time. So thanks for what you do.
Thank you, Representative Condata, for, again, pushing our button on this one. So with that, I'd ask for a yes vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All of those opposed, nay. Let the record show that it's a 12-0 vote. And by your action, you have passed out substitute House Bill 1636 with a due pass recommendation. We are adjourned. And don't forget to sign sheets.
House Bill 1636, clerk will read.
An act relating to amateur sports
Last line.
officials, sponsor of the sports contest.
Engrossed substitute House Bill 1636 on third reading and final passage. Remarks, the gentleman from the 33rd District, Representative Up the Grove.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rising in support of the legislation. My friends on this floor know that a year or two ago I left my community relations job and went through the training and became a certified basketball official. And it was the best decision I've ever made. I have a lot of fun. I spend my interim and my weekends now officiating basketball games. It's also one of the most difficult jobs I've ever done because not only do you have to learn and apply a complex set of rules, you have to make split-second decisions, but you also have to apply diplomacy skills, as you can imagine, with parents and coaches in emotional situations. And we've all seen the benefit of youth athletics in our community, our school games, our Little League games, and we all know that young people benefit tremendously through their participation in youth sports. Young people do better in school, achieve academically, and learn teamwork and goal setting when they participate in sports. This bill will ensure that those youth will help ensure that those programs can continue in our communities, because by clarifying that these officials' organizations are not employers for purposes of unemployment insurance, we're keeping the costs down. And by saving money for our school districts and our Little League organizations, we can help those youth athletics succeed. No money will come out of the UI Trust Fund because this has been the historic practice. Until recently, when Employment Security began questioning the status. Also, it's appropriate. When you think about it, you're hired on an on-game basis. You can't really get fired because you're only hired game by game. And people do this as a second job for fun and for exercise. So I'd ask you to join me to support our schools, to support youth athletics, and support these officials who model good sportsmanship, who put up with a lot of grief to make sure that our contests are safe and fair. I ask for your support.
Thank you. Any further remarks?
Mr. Speaker, as a former high school basketball coach, I think these referees and officials need all the help they can. So I therefore urge support.
Thank you, Representative. Any further remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I couldn't resist this. So for any of you that don't know, the good gentleman from the 33rd District, when we came down here a few years ago, didn't know his head from a basketball hoop. I'm telling you, he didn't even play the game. And he started playing down here. And now look at him. I don't know about you, but I'm voting for this bill just because I'm proud of him. Way to go.
Thank you. Further remarks? Seeing none, the question before the House is final passage of engrossed substitute House Bill 1636. The Speaker is about to open the roll call machine. The Speaker's opened the roll call machine. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change his or her vote? The Speaker is about to lock the roll call machine. Representative. Speaker has locked the roll call machine. The clerk to take the record, please.
Mr. Speaker, there are 94 yeas, 0 nay, 4 excused or not voting.
Having received a constitutional majority, engrossed substitute House Bill 1636 is declared passed.
My name's Adam Stambor, and I am a full-time student I love being a soccer referee. I love being a soccer player. I play indoor. I play outdoor. I play for my school. I play for an outside team. And this bill is very important to everybody who's here, who loves recreational sports, who loves giving back to the community. So I encourage you guys to support this because it's good for a lot of people. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Adam, and especially for your outstanding testimony. And I'm pleased to welcome you here since apparently you're my constituent.
Yeah.
He's not old enough to vote yet.
Doesn't matter. I don't serve people only if they vote, you know. Serve everybody.
My parents vote.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing us today. My name is Megan Rabin, representing Seattle Metro. Without the training and support of our association, I would not be moving up as quickly as I currently am. And so I ask that you support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, and I commend you for your early pioneering on this.
My name is Lori Bish. I am a firefighter for the City of Seattle. Currently hold the position of lieutenant, and I've been on the department for 17 years. I live in the city of Tacoma. I have reached the highest levels of softball officiating by being in the 2008 Summer Olympics. When I went to the University of Nebraska and was working on my master's degree, my roommate at the time said, well, I'm off to the association meeting. I'm like, really? Can I go with you? And that's how I started recreational softball for my local association. Without their support, without their training, I would not have reached the level that I'm currently at.
My name is Kayleen Dunson. I am currently the vice president of the Seattle Metro Softball Association, and I am just here to, there's nothing I can add. We've had great testimony. I get to actually work next to Lori Bish, an Olympics umpire, because of the association. I give a lot of hours working for the association, and I do it because I love the game. Please support the bill. Would love to see it out of committee. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. You've all been terrific. And would all the people who are here and are involved with this please stand so we can recognize you? Terrific. We really commend you for all that you've been doing and will continue to do for youth and adults and good health and community support. Thank you.
Gross Substitute House Bill 1636. The Secretary will read.
Section 1, RCW 50.04.245 and 2007, Chapter 146, Section 14 are each amended to read as follows.
Last line.
Sports contest.
Senator Cowells.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules be suspended, that in Gross Substitute House Bill 1636 be advanced to third reading, the second reading considered the third, and the bill be placed on final passage.
Senator Cowells has moved that the rules be suspended. Gross Substitute House Bill 1636 be advanced to third reading, second reading considered the third, and the bill be placed on final passage. Hearing no objections, so ordered. Senator Cowell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sure that everybody here has had familiarity and experience with youth sports. And this bill clarifies that services performed by amateur sports officials are not considered employment for the purposes of unemployment insurance requirements. Certainly, when individuals are working on a contest by contest basis, contributing their time to these sports contests and volunteering their time, their officiating should not be subject to paying for unemployment insurance when they are not receiving any compensation. I ask for your support.
Senator Baumgartner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, stand in support of this bill. And once again, we see that the unemployment insurance taxes in this state are too high, and it's great when we can do anything that seeks to redress those.
Secretary will call the roll on the final passage of Gross Substitute House Bill 1636.
Baumgartner. Baxter. Becker.
Senator Stevens.
Mr. President, 48 yeas, 1 excused.
Having received the constitutional majority, House Bill gross substitute House Bill 1636 is declared passed. Title of the bill be the title of the act.
This is ESHB 1636, relating to amateur sports officials. Representative Dave Upthegrove is the prime sponsor on the bill. The bill exempts small associations of sports officials as employers for unemployment insurance purposes. By exempting services performed by amateur sports officials for purposes of unemployment insurance, the bill keeps costs affordable for our schools, parks and recreation districts, and various sports leagues. This in turn will increase affordability for our young families and others who want to participate in youth sports. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Okay.
All right, everyone, look right here. Can I get you to kind of step? Perfect, just like that. This is a colorful picture. Thank you.
There you go.